Okay, so week 3. No, we did week 3. I think week 4 is where crap hit the fan.
Felt like crap was there like the whole time.
So many of you know from social that I didn't pass the stones. We did have to surgery during the week of the open. So I stayed either at the hospital or the hotel right next to the hospital.
And you took my...
I had Rowdy.
You took my Rowdy.
Because I didn't want him to have any of that on his plate in addition to everything else.
So your mom come down?
Yep, my mom came down. My aunt came up from South Florida.
Yeah.
And they kind of tag team while I got myself...
And y'all did all that so I could focus on fishing.
Yeah, that's exactly why we did it.
I didn't focus on fishing. I lived like a bachelor. I lost so much weight, which I probably needed to.
You lost all your winter flubbage.
Yeah, my winter flubbage is gone.
And what I learned, though, during the process is he's never been the camper by himself. And I learned that I'm the pig.
Well,
I would come and check on the camper during the day when he was gone, and I'm like, it's spotless.
I really wasn't, like, I'm not here. You live, I'll give you a pass. Like, you're kind of in the camper a lot.
Well, yeah. But...
So I was doing the daylight to dark on Toho and Kissimmee practicing.
Yep.
While you're out I call it the vacation from me.
Anyone who's ever had a kidney stone removal surgery know it's not a vacation. You know, stents are not vacation.
So it was just a wild week. Practice was hard. You did everything you could so I could focus.
So the week before practice, you caught a 10-pounder.
Yeah, I mean, my second day, I've never even been there before. My second day, I caught a 10-pounder. I caught some other big ones. And it was lots of fun. I remember telling you, if nothing changes, I'm going to win this thing. And then, like, everything changed. From kidney stone to the conditions. We had, like, the Arctic freeze apocalypse in Florida.
Wasn't there, like, a dam that opened, too?
There was a lock that opened. That kind of dirtied the water. There was all kinds of fishing reasons that changed. We'll say changed.
Okay.
And the lesson I'm learning in Florida, I guess probably by the time we summarize at the end of our Florida trip, is things change very fast in Florida.
Yes,
there's
very
two
fast.
constants in Florida. People in Florida do not drive well. I said that as nicely as I could. Traffic is always terrible. And fast change.
Fast.
Fast.
Very fast.
Fast. And so, yeah, like in the week prior to the tournament, before official practice, I had really caught some nice ones. Things changed, you know, both on the water and off the water. And so it was kind of mentally trying to focus.
But you didn't do terrible in the open. There's like 200 and some anglers that finished in the top 20%.
Yeah, I think I finished in the 60s somewhere.
I don't know. But it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
It wasn't a wash. You're still going to be okay.
In it being like overall pretty tough fishing throughout the field, you just had to get one of those special Florida, you know, big bites. Yeah. And in 2 days, I didn't get those. Yeah. So it was a decent finish for an opens field. Yeah, and it was a tough week.
And we're doing all 9 opens. And so
we are doing all 9.
We want that to be your worst finish of the year.
It'd be, if in the opens, if that's the worst finish, it'd be good. But so, you know, it was a wild start to this wild year.
So we had, so when we left there, where did we go?
We went straight to St. John's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and I come got your butt out of your fancy hotel with all your stuff and moved you back to the camper with me.
And we started practice there Sunday.
The next day.
Yeah, I think we drove Saturday. We had to go kind of slow because you still had your stent and all that fun. And
that I had to remove myself.
People do it every day.
Oh my God! Well, he's so gonna eat these words one day. When he has a kidney stone stent, I'm gonna replay this. People do it every day.
No, it's different for men. we need more help. So we went straight to St. John's. Yeah. Practice started on Sunday.
The next day.
And again, like it's been like, leave it to the year we get to come to Florida for like 5 or 6 straight weeks. Weather's cold, rains off and on.
Oh yeah, it was freezing at St. John.
First morning of practice for the Elite Series season here at St. John's, and typically we bring apocalyptic weather everywhere we go. So it's drizzling outside, it's about 46 degrees, and I'm taking extra rain clothes with me. Looks like it won't rain all day, but it's going to rain some. really cold, but like really fired up. Woke up an hour before my alarm this morning, like just ready to go start the hunt. So it's a marathon. Today's just like a little warm up, long year, and we're ready to go. Even Boo and Rowdy's up this morning. I mean, everybody.
And in Florida, like if it's in the 40s, like if the high is under 50 in Florida, it's apocalyptic. Like it's terrible. It's cold too.
Yeah.
So practice was a little wild, but so after 3 days of practice, I had basically found 2 options.
Okay. Yeah.
So like flip the coin day one, where we going? And so at this event, we actually had an off day Wednesday. So we do all the like photographs,
meeting rules.
Yeah, we have a rules meeting. We do they do photos of your truck and boat. There's like all that stuff to get the season started.
Yeah.
And I know, like in the back of my mind, I'm like, I gotta flip that coin. Which one am I going to? I'm not truly flipping a coin. I had one way I caught a couple of big ones, but it was only a couple.
And it was after hours, so it was like after 5 o'clock.
Super late, last day of practice, the last area I go to, catch 2 really big ones in practice, stay in there for 3 hours, get no more bites. There are a lot of anglers around, so I'm like, man, there's just a lot of people here. And the other deal I was doing, I was going to lock through to another lake, and
but everybody says that about us.
had 10 or 12 bites in there one day. Like, and most of the bites came in one section or one area, did one thing.
And it was pretty fast.
In a quick, I stayed in the lake the whole day checking a bunch of other stuff, but so come game day, like these choices are what is like. I always say like there's a fine line.
There is a fine line in fishing where you do really well or you are
Correct.
really low on the standings.
And the higher up on the ladder you go, the smaller that margin is. And so I went with what I felt in my gut was the right based on decisions. Again, cold. We have frost on the dock the morning it take off. And in Florida, these fish don't like this. The old people don't like it. People in Florida do not like cold, including us. When
we don't like Florida.
So, I make my choice. It's one of those things. The spots are 40 miles apart. There's a lock in between them. It's not, you can't really do both. So it's one or the other. And so I made my choice, made the very best of it. Didn't have a good day one.
No.
And that really puts you behind the 8 ball. And after day one, I wasn't like way back. I was 3 or 4 pounds out of the
You were 3 or 4
line.
pounds out of the cut.
But in Florida and even at St. John's, it was fishing tough. But those giant special bites.
Yeah.
And I didn't have many of them in practice. But day 2, I decided to go to Plan B. And I did have...
Which was the place that you got 2 big bites.
2 big bites. And keep in mind, like, we don't know what goes on day 1. We can't look at the coverage. I don't talk to a lot of guys, so it's not like I have a clue what went on day 1. But day 2, I go to Plan B.
He's going to go for it.
Going for it.
I got to swing for the fences.
Yeah, got to catch some big ones, make some ground. And again, in Florida, you catch 20 pounds, boom, you're back in it. So I make a longer run down to the area, and it turns out it was a very popular area.
On day 1.
On day 1. And when I get there on day 2, it's still popular.
You pull up to the leaders from day 1.
Yeah, some of the guys, like 6 of the top 10 is in this area.
Oh my God.
And so, for me, like, I wanted to crawl in a hole when I pulled in. I'm like, each guy, I'm like, hey, I'm going to fish by. Like, you don't want to be in their way, yet everyone...
But you're in Florida. You're not out of it.
Everyone understands, like, that's just how it is in Florida. So, like, I was trying to be friendly, and the guys were great. Like, everyone understood, like, hey, just fish. But, I mean, long story short, I can end this one quick. It was a small area. They pounded them day 1. They didn't catch a lot of fish.
But
The few guys I talked to, they caught the right ones. And it just took too much pressure on day 1. Most of the people in there didn't catch them day 2. And it was much tougher. And so I left there at lunchtime, I don't think with any fish, or maybe 1. And
speed to the end, it was terrible.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Long run back, had a couple hours fish, caught 1 more fish, end up in the 80s. That's not how we need to start the year. We need to really...
It was tough.
It's tough. It was tough. That was a hard one to swallow. Because I had done decent there last year as well. So, tough one to swallow.
Like I got run over by a truck and backed up and hit me again.
But no time to cry about it.
No, because the next day is Harris.
Hop in the truck. So that event ends on Sunday. We had to get to our new camping spot Saturday. Afternoon, we get over our camping spot, get set up. So Sunday, I got a little time to work on tackle, do some of that. Boom, Harris chain starts. One of my one of our favorite places to
one of my
visit.
favorite places.
Cool town to visit. Got a good buddy who lives there on the lake as well, so we got to visit with them a little bit. But practice started, and it was game on. And first day of practice, like always, I try to sample a lot of stuff, look at a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
like, just so like I know everyone understands this, but y'all have 3 days of practice.
correct.
And so like I think it was 100 miles of fishable water at St. John's. Harris, you have what, 5 lakes you can go to?
It's 5 or 6 lakes. Most of them you have to like do some long idles through canals.
Yeah.
There's one you have some idles and you got to lock through.
So there's no way you can cover it all, and also cover it at like the right time of the day to cover it.
So I start kind of looking offshore a little bit, and that kind of sucks. And the first few places I go look shallow, and keep in mind now it's warmed up.
Yeah,
I need to say that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Full moon, beautiful weather, February.
In shorts.
I'm playing sexual healing on the way to the ramp every morning. Like, they're coming. But so day one, I want to sample some offshore, some grass, look at a couple lakes, but I also want to look shallow and just see if there's any up there. So first couple places I go shallow, it's like why couldn't we start today? Like giants everywhere. And they want to bite. Like sometimes you see fish and they won't bite around beds, but these were all biters. Like they would all bite. So I had my hook tucked in my bait so I wouldn't hook them and I could flip to them. They bite. Could have had a great big stringer. Wham, wham, wham. Tuesday I decide to look in a different lake or two. Again, I fish offshore some. Blend in a few shallow places as well.
But you're also looking at beds.
Yeah, looking for spawning fish and seeing if it's happening, if they're coming. Because we're all expecting this wave to come.
Mm-hmm.
This is my third tournament in a row, third week in a row, Florida, in competition. There's been a little trickle of fish here or there, on the days where it warmed up, but hadn't been a wave. So, Day one, practice looks like a wave. Day two, I didn't really build on it. I caught some decent fish offshore, but I never found a group. It was one here, one there, one here, one there, all in different lakes. I looked at 4 lakes that day. Covered a ton of water. I covered so much water on that day, I had to call you to go get my truck and come pick me up at another lake because I couldn't make the long idle through.
He couldn't make it in time.
Before dark, before we have to be off the water. Yeah. And I wanted to spend all my time fishing. So Mama come got me. Day 3 was like the wild day. You'd actually launch me that day, which you normally don't do.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I got you to launch me so I could go run all over and then come back to Lake Harris and fish in there some too. So I go to where I think could be the best spawning. What I know about Harris, good spawning canals. I go to them first thing, and nothing.
Ghost town.
Nothing. There's no love making. There's no bucks up there building their beds. I don't see any cruising. So I kind of start working my way back up, and there's all these no wake zones, and there's different lakes, and I fish my way all the way up. It gets to be like noon. And I have not been back to where I went on the first day of practice.
With all the big ones on beds.
With all the big ones and all the love making going. So I'm like, I got to go just see if something's happening. I just want to make a quick pass, see if I see a few. If I do, I'm out. And every one of them were gone.
Every one of them?
All of them. Like one area, I had like 15 over 5 pounds on day 1.
And I got the text message.
And I'm still...
They're gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God.
I texted they're gone. And that's like the oh, crap. Because the rest of practice was just kind of some fish here or there, but I didn't feel like I had a group found. And offshore, you want a group. You don't want to just go fish. So they're gone. Mm-hmm. Okay, sad story, boo-hoo-hoo, it's over. They're gone. So the rest of the day, like we don't flip out, we cover a lot of water, end up having a pretty good afternoon. Now this is on Wednesday, so our last afternoon. And I fish our way all the way back to our campground. We have a launch there. I tell her, hey, you just pick me up at the campground. So did a variety of things, looked at a little more offshore, caught a few here or there, still ain't found that group. But late in the day, found what I thought would be a good backup area for some spawners. They were not the giants like I'd found before. They were good ones though. And all the way up until 5:30, like I shook a few off, like a few 3-pounders. And in Florida, those aren't terrible. You want the 8-9-pounders, but 3-pounders okay. So that's how I end my practice. Go back, rig my stuff, of course in the dark. We don't have an off day this time. It's go time on the first day. I was boat 50-something, so I'm just over midway through the pack. And I decided to start an offshore area with some grass. And I'd seen some boats in practice. I knew like there was some activity there. There were some people around, and I'd caught 1 or 2 big ones, kind of away from everybody. But now keep in mind, there's only 94 boats in our tournament. I'm boat 50-something. Get to my spot, and I'm like the 15th dude there already. And now, the good part is the little stretches I had caught fish on, kind of away from everybody. I'm thinking all that pressure is going to push them to me. Like, I'm really just real deep thinker here, right? And I start over there and it's a catch-a-palooza a couple hundred yards from me, and everyone's catching them. Not everyone. There's a lot of guys that didn't. I don't want to oversell that. There's a lot of boats fish the area. Ends up probably day one, 20 boats fish the area. And
I would say 8 of the 20 were in the top 10.
Probably.
Yeah.
But there's a few guys scratching their heads, but a lot of guys caught them. There's a lot of fish in the area, a lot of activity. I only caught 2. And hopped around some other lakes, did a few things, finished out my limit, went to what I thought was going to be my good backup area I found the last day of practice. I shook off some 3-pounders and go in there, and I probably fished for 45 minutes or an hour, and I've been through some good stretches of what I thought was going to be I should have got bit. And I'd caught 1 or 2 little ones, but not, the quality was gone. And I finally got to where I could see some of the beds where I shook some off. And again, Florida, you may want to earmuff. They make love so fast in Florida, and they gone. I'm so trained back where I live, Toledo Bend, Sam Rayburn area. The spawn process, it's like a couple days. Over in my neck of the woods, we're sweet love makers. We take our time. These Florida dudes are like, boo, 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 and they're gone. But it is amazing. Like, you're fishing areas with hundreds of yards of water. It's only 1.5 feet. Like, you think you would see the train heading out. Like, you think you'd see them somewhere. The water's shallow, clear, and it's just like ghost town. So I run back to where I started, and I finished my limit. I think I get up to 11 pounds. Lost 2 key fish. Not giants, but key fish. Should have ended the day a little more weight, but I had 2 get away. And we all say it's part of it, but we don't mean that. We're supposed to catch them all. At this level, you cannot have them get away. Didn't do anything wrong, but they just got away. So day 2, here we are again. We got to swing for the fence. Got to catch them. So I go back to my area, and I decided this day to kind of grind it out. And you actually got to come on the water and kind of watch some of this. Now
I did 2 hours, and I bailed because I couldn't handle. I couldn't handle the pressure.
My buddy took her out there so she could kind of watch, maybe video a little bit. Now, I had warned her, don't look around, because every time I looked up, someone was catching one. And
yeah, there's 30 boats in there, and everybody's there's fish jumping in boats practically. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
So it looks that way, but they were not jumping in this boat. And day 2, it's even more crowded. We had more guys show up to the area that weren't there on day 1. So it gets more crowded. You're out there for a little while. Obviously you don't really talk to me or anything like that. So I'm fishing. You get to watch. I think you saw me catch 1, but it was a struggle. But I made my mind up. There's fish here. I'm catching them. Everybody else is catching them. I'm gonna catch them, and I stay all day basically and grind in that area. And I still do not go out there in a cluster of people where all the craziness is
That's
happening.
another conversation for another day. Because when you're out there and you can watch it happen,
I just can't do it. I don't go run where I see other people catching. I'm fishing my game plan.
I understand that, and I appreciate your etiquette and your ethics.
I know, you wish I'd go over there. But, again, some people caught them, some didn't. But I stay all day and kind of just grind out another small limit. And got to the end of the day, and finally we see some upward momentum. I finally pull my head out of my butt. Kind of made a change, just observing what's going on around me. I'm not catching them that good. It's tough. You notice the people around aren't catching as many in the grass, and so I finally decided to make a change and go do some different techniques. And I'm talking, I have 30 minutes of fishing left, and I'm like, let's go do something else. What do you got to lose? And in this crazy mental tough game, I'm gonna say mental tough because if not, I'll end up in a psych ward. Last 30 minutes. First spot I go to do this, I get a bite, 2.5 pounder. And that was a good call for what I had. It's been a tough day. Next spot I go to, and I'm down to
20 minutes of fishing.
Probably less than that, because I still got a 10-minute run back. I'm going to say 10 or 12 minutes fishing. But in that 10 or 12 minutes, I caught a 5-pounder, 2 3-pounders, and get up to 16 pounders.
What he is. Dude, that's a big one.
All right, this is it.
Stay down. Oh, dang. Stay down.
Bob. I might go around this one a little bit.
That's right. Stay down. Stay down. Oh, damn. Yep, just dodge me. Let me get my hands on you, please, baby. Still.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta keep flair for the dramatics.
We are flirting fishing tomorrow, Bob.
Yeah. No, you made a hell of a run at it, I'll tell you.
Still got time. You
That-
freaking kidding me?
What's that one?
5. What do you think?
Close to 5, yeah.
You freaking kidding me, dude? That thing freaking get on the bite. Like the one over in Dora. Yes. Come on. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna help. Get him in. Yes! You're gonna have to retie tonight, I think.
At some point. I might.
Yes, man. Way to go.
All right, let's take our time, get this coal right, and let's get the hell out of Dodge.
Okay, get it right.
So like, we always do this Elite Series math. You look at where the cut line for the third day is going to be. Some days it goes back a pound, some days it goes up a pound. But overall, based on what I've watched, I didn't see as many fish get caught.
You
that
would have
day.
needed about 14. Everybody presumed you would have needed 14 pounds in day 2 to have an average of about 25.
We were looking
pounds.
around 26 and a half, 26, somewhere in there would make
That's where
the
everybody
cut.
kind of thought the cut would be.
And so I make the run back. And look, things change sometimes. Like, they catch them, they don't. But whatever. I ended that day on a positive note. We get back, barely missed a cut. We finished in the 50s.
People were telling him, like, good job today. Like, thinking he
Yeah,
made the cut because
like,
he was so good.
Even on stage, you know, they were like, you know, saying I'd probably be tomorrow. But ended up not. The guys caught him well, and that happens. But I was very happy. I ended it, like, on a... Finally, I said on stage, I trusted my gut.
Mm-hmm.
And change it up. Like, if something ain't working, change it up. That's not rocket
Yeah.
science. I've done that a million times
Yeah.
in my life. But at this level, every change has to be right. There's just
Yeah.
no room for error. So I was very excited to finish on a high note. And that concluded the tournament portion of Florida.
We took a few days to go and, you know,
Well,
decompress because it wasn't, with the fuel prices, it really wasn't worth driving all the way home for 2 days to be home for a few days and then drive 2
Yeah,
days
'cause we'd
back. It
only
would have
been home-
cost us more.
We'd only been home 3 or 4
Yeah.
days. I did, before we left, though, on Saturday, I did a trip. Bass had like a sponsor thing going with
We did a little guide trip with it.
yeah, we did kind of like a little pretend tournament at a different lake, one the anglers
Mhm.
couldn't go to that was in the tournament.
Yep.
And I got to take a 4-year-old out and his dad. That was a
Yeah.
fun day. We got to weigh in on stage.
Yeah.
It was fun. Kind of go back to my guide routes. That was fun.
You got to hang out with a client.
Yeah, I got to hang out with a client another day.
Mhm.
Sunday, kind of went over, worked the booth, did some work with Bass, worked on,
Yamaha.
got to go on live, got to work
Yep.
the Yamaha booth. Did a few things. I felt like I should be there and be present for my sponsors and do my job that weekend. That's what we
Yeah.
did. Then Monday, Tuesday, we fished just a little. I actually want to go back on the water and just fish some.
Mhm.
So it's kind of a funny story. A guy I met several years ago fished me on Toledo Bend from the Wisconsin area. He's down in Florida fishing. He ended up marshalling it in. Ends up being my marshal on day 2. So it
How
was
cool
really
is that?
cool.
Yeah.
Me and him got to go fishing on Tuesday. On Monday, I got to take my other buddy. We just went out for a few hours. Just a couple hours, fun fishing.
Yeah.
And of course, we called him. I don't even talk about that. But then we went to a different resort.
Yeah.
Mama loves putting her toes in the sand. So we
Yeah.
got a couple hours at a beach. It was a long drive.
Yeah. It wasn't long mileage, but
Took a
Florida
long time.
traffic.
Again,
Yeah.
Florida traffic. So we did get to go to the beach.
Yeah.
I got to play a little bit of golf for a day or two.
And now we're north. We're in Greenville.
Yep.
Fixing to do the classic. And he'll be working.
Working for sponsors this week. We're not fishing the classic. And
That's always tough. So, okay.
It's been tougher since I fished one.
It's been tougher since you fished one. So this is the thing too. Like, I know people that maybe watch this, like they probably tournament fish and they sometimes don't do well. Like, we had 3 events already, and none of them have been like stellar, amazing finishes.
Yeah, and one was
How
really bad.
How do you process? Like, what's on your brain? How do you get ready for the next? Because we got a tournament here in South Carolina in a week.
So this week's all about promoting and working for my sponsors. That's a part of our job that doesn't get talked about a lot. So this week, you still think about the fishing. I still think about the results in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Still pissed off it didn't go better. But this week, my job is work for my sponsors. And so that's what we're doing this week. And then we have a week off for preparation. So I'll be thinking about Santee Cooper a lot. But one of the hardest parts in this sport, it's always been that way. I've made a lot of long, lonely drives home where you think about all this stuff. And it's good to think about it to an extent because you learn. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from... And sometimes it's not even mistakes. Like St. John's, I had 2 choices.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if I chose the other one, if I would have even caught them. There were people that went to that good area day one that didn't catch them. Some really did. So my thing with it is you can't beat yourself up. It's good to reflect back and learn, and you got to put it behind you. You know, with the year we have this year, we have 18 events on our schedule. We're 3 in. So, you know, I said on stage at one of them, you know, it's like eating an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? Little bites. And that's what we're doing. So,
one tournament at a time.
One at a time. And that's like a cliche, but like it's in your head. So I took, while we like had a couple days in Florida before we left, I had a few days to just try to reset and think it all through. And the summary I can come up with is it's done. It's rear view mirror. And, you know, I see some things I need to improve on. But the biggest thing that I want to focus on, and this is what got me here, is everything I want is right in front of me. We have 15 events still. If I take care of my business, do my job, if I compete how I know I can compete, we're fine. A lot of time left. A lot of events. A lot of fishing left. So that's where we're at right now. Excited to go. You know, the classic fishing it was incredibly special, but I've worked them for sponsors, I believe, for like 10 or 11 years. It's a cool time to honor them, work for them, but it's also a cool time. This is like one of the few events you get to meet the fans, and that's one of the special things about our sport. And I say fans, I use that friends, because a lot of these folks that I'm going to talk with this week are people that I know I've met through guiding or through tournaments or whatever. So you get some time to reconnect, promote your sponsors, and it's not a bad week. It's not a bad week at all. We just want big things in life, and we want to be competing for the Classic. So. I do have some good buddies competing in the Classic. I hope they do well. It'd be really cool to, you know, see someone that I know and that I have a relationship with, because I can't imagine what it'd be like. I was so excited to fish it, but to actually be in contention would be special. So we're doing that. Heading to Santee Cooper next week. Probably work on some tackle. Doing a lot of research, internet research, on my graphs, looking at mapping, trying to become one with my boat and get it going. And April's gonna be busy.
4 tournaments in 4 weeks.
So basically Santee Cooper starts a 6-week run that we have 5
tournaments in 6 weeks.
So
in different states.
So we're gonna be eating a lot of elephant.
Yes, it's gonna be great.
Little nibbles.
It's gonna be great.
Everything we want's right in front of us. That's like that was my mantra the year I qualified for the elites. I just know, like, you have a few of those moments, and those are the moments that keep us going every day. That's what all of us as competitors strive for. That's what makes those bad ones worth it. That's what we're working for, and it's fun now that hopefully some of our kidneys.
Sorry, this is a long video. It was like 4 videos in one.
We're summarizing what was a month.
Yeah, because we kind of got, you know, from the open when I was down, we just kind of really got behind going.
Yeah, so.
All of it. So sorry this is so long. Thanks so much for following along. Be sure and like. We sound like YouTubers.
Smash the subscribe button.
Follow along. Hit the subscribe button.
No, follow along, because we do appreciate everyone keeping up with us, and we enjoy. I think this is a good time for us to kind of reflect and get some of this out. But we're ready to move forward. Let's go. If there's anything, suggestions you have or anything, be sure and drop it in the comments below. Yeah, let us know. Recipes, food,
Cooking.
And Rowdy.
More Rowdy.
More Rowdy. You can't get enough
He
Rowdy.
was sleeping. More Rowdy.
I'll take some better.
Okay.
Thank y'all for
Bye,
following.
everybody.
Appreciate it.